Hey guys, thank you for watching and welcome to my channel. This is Breaking Burke. It is about houseplants and gardening here in the desert of Albuquerque, New Mexico. In today's video, I wanted to bring you along as I fill my propagation wall hanger. Now this does have 9 vessels hanging on it, test tubes, whatever, and it is made of 5 different sets. So it can be separated and moved around, and I made it myself, so it's nothing too extravagant. But I'm just going to take some cuttings and fill it in so you can see it. Uh, First plant I have here is purple passion plant. Let's see if we can see the cutting. Now, I did let this get away from me, and you can see some of the older leaves are kind of crispy. So I'm just going to take those off, the bottom older leaves. And that's about all you need to do to get a cutting of this ready. Just remove the lower leaves, anything that's dead or dying, and then find some place you want to stick it. Now I'm going to put multiple cuttings because I do eventually want these to be plants, and I don't really like starting out with a tiny little plant, so I am going to do a couple cuttings. Now I've had this plant for almost a year now, and I've made tons, I'd say probably about 10 plants. Anybody who sees it is like, what the heck is that? I don't know if you can see it up close, but it's got a bunch of little tiny purple hairs, and the leaves are green, but there's so many hairs that it gives the plant the look that it's purple. So that's really neat. And I think with 3 cuttings of this is plenty. I will definitely have a nice full little pot when I do it. And these hangers, they do look empty, but there is water. It's up to the neck right there. And then I have a couple Hoya carnosa compacta or Hoya rope. You want to get some stem. You can always try and get these guys from just a leaf cutting. However, it does take forever to grow a plant, so if you can, even if it's a small piece of stem, get a piece of stem. Now, these plants that are going to kind of be lost in the middle, I think I'm just going to put them here because I don't want anything growing too tall. And I'm sorry if I'm blocking the camera or it's out of view. I will move the camera around after once it's all done so you can see what exactly I did where you don't have a view. And then here I got some basic spider plant pups. There's this little guy. And then there's this one. Now this one's probably as old as my plant is, and you can see it's kind of done a little snail deal here on the bottom where it's wrapped around itself. What you want to do in this case, or most cases with spider plant and these babies, take off a couple of the lower leaves. If you put the lower leaves in water, they're just going to rot and cause your propagation to have some issues along the way. So if you can take them off, that is even better. This does also expose some air roots. I will take one off in camera shot so you can see. Just pull it the opposite way of that it's growing, and right there, see that little bump? That's an air root. So the more of those you have off and exposed, the better. You can see this one has probably like 100. So you just want to make sure that that part is in the soil or the water. So we'll push them down to about right there. Just leave the foliage sticking up. Now, why would I be starting more of these when I have tons? I like to share and I like to give them away. Also, summer's coming up, and I would like to have some plants ready to be able to share with you guys. Now, one of my oldies but goodies and one of the easiest guys to propagate, at least for me, Monstera Deliciosa. You can see this guy's got his first fanny right there, his first fenstration. Nice big heart-shaped leaf. And it does have an aerial root. Let's see. See that guy right there? So just stick that in water and it'll almost instantly start to grow. You're not going to be able to see the root take off, but I said almost. You will see it pretty quickly. And then, let's see here. I have some golden pothos. And I know what you're thinking. Why golden pothos? This is a vine off of my large leaf golden pothos. On mine, they average the size of my hand. You can see these are a little bit smaller, about half the size of my hand. But still a decent size, and knowing that it will get bigger is nice. So I got a whip, and I'm just going to go through and shorten the inner nodes. I like to have about 1 inch on either side of the node, and right here that's way too much. That will also give you something to rot in water, so what you want to end up with, something similar to this, a leaf node cutting. It will start to grow from here in the crotch of the stem and the petiole. The petiole is the stem that holds up the leaf. The stem, of course, when I say stem, I'm talking about the stem that holds the plant up, that gives the plant some height. Now right here, I'm going to show you, there's an empty node and another one here that has a leaf. So I'm just going to take it here to where it has a leaf. And what I'm going to do here is cut this back to right below this node with no leaf. And I'm going to stick both of those in water. What that's going to do is cause both of them to root, and this could actually send up a vine through the water or soil after you have it planted. And just a couple more cuttings on this. I don't know that this is the Hawaiian type, the huge kind, but like I said, I've never seen leaves this size on a regular golden pothos, so I'm assuming it is, or it's just a very nice example of a regular golden. Either way, still very pretty. And just because the plant's common doesn't mean it's not worth saving or having in your collection. Your collection should be a part of you. Now, here I have some cuttings of regular green red flowering lipstick plant. Now that is entirely too long, so what I'm going to do here is knock a couple leaves off towards the center. And then I'm going to take a cutting. Now what I want to do is have at least one node. See right here where the leaves used to be? That's going to be in water. So I'm going to limb up this other one the same. And actually that one, I got 3 nodes. 1, 2, 3 on that one. So I'm going to do that a couple times. And like I said, I just want to make sure when I do pot these guys up that they look like it's a decent little plant. I don't want to have just a little tiny stick coming out of a pot. I know that's what we're used to because now during lockdown everybody decided they wanted to plant, and production can only grow plants as quick as plants are willing to grow. So we've been getting smaller plants for more money, which is alright. I mean, there's a lot more people, or a lot more people collecting plants at this point. So it's understandable. And I have one more piece of this. Some people do call it a Hoya lipstick plant. I just call it lipstick plant. And you want to take off any, see this little old leaf? Anything that's dry or crunchy, because that will lead to rot. And like I said, the more nodes you have underwater, the better off you are. But even if you just have one underwater, that will be sufficient. Now, if you do decide to water propagate like I am here, you always want to make sure that you check your water level or you change your water out. You can lead to rot, or in my case, let some of these things dry up, which is not great for them. And here I just have a Syngonium. Nothing too crazy, nothing extravagant, but it is a pretty plant that I got as a rehab, and it just has done its thing. Oh, look at this guy. He put out a nice long aerial root. It's actually growing into the plant itself, which is weird. But you can see all these cuttings have aerial roots, which is nice. So what I think I'm going to do is just put all 3 of these together. It's a very pale green. That's the best rendition of the color you're going to see there. So again, just multiple cuttings per little cup because I do want decent sized plants. I don't want little tiny, gonna take a year to grow plants. And then I have a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma or Monstera ginny or mini Monstera. It's got a lot of names. But this guy, I don't know, I can grow it decent for a while, then it always does the same thing and starts to defoliate on the lower leaves, which isn't very cute. So every once in a while I have to chop them up. And it's funny because the mother plant I have growing, it's about 4 or 5 feet tall now, and that doesn't defoliate, but any of the propagations that I've made from her does. So it's kind of weird. And all I'm doing here is shortening the inner nodes so I don't have too much material underwater right here, the space between the nodes. Just giving that a little chop so it's not so big and doesn't want to rot. And you can see I have a few cuttings here. I think it's like 5 cuttings. Little Monstera, ginny or mini Monstera. Now when you do cuttings, you do want to make sure you try and keep the direction right. Like, you don't want to put your cutting upside down in water like that, because it's not going to grow very well. If it does, it's going to take forever. So put it with the leaf sticking up. Most of the time you can tell because it will favor the top side more. See how if you were measuring the angles, the bottom side is a bigger angle, the top side is a smaller angle between the leaf and the stem. Sorry about the background noise. I can't help what's going on outside. And I think I have one more jar to fill up. Like I said, guys, thank you for sticking around. This was a 9 propagation hanger, so I do have quite a bit of propagating to do. And the next plant, the last one that we're going to do today, is a Brazil Philodendron. I have a couple of these. I looked forever to find one, and when I finally did find it local, I snagged one up, and then I kept finding them. So yeah, they were small little 6-inch pots, or 4-inch actually, and I wanted a decent sized pot, so I bought a few of them up and combined them. Now it does cost a little more, but hey, if it's what you want, it's worth it. So you can see right here, I've taken the lower leaves and stripped them, so I just have the nodes with aerial roots. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to submerge those in water, make sure that the aerial roots are touching water. Now with some of these plants that do produce aerial roots, the sooner you can get them into water after the aerial root has produced, the better chance you have of having a viable aerial root. If you let the plant grow and then try and do it later on down the line, yes, you can have more material to work with. However, some of these aerial roots do dry up, and once that happens, it's not really going to do anything. It won't root from that area, is what I've noticed. So you do want to take advantage of the aerial roots while they're nice and supple and fresh. Once they get old and dried out, they're not really going to produce anything. But let me just show you the color on this guy. See, it kind of turns like a reddish pink. It's a new growth. And then eventually it just fades out to the green and yellow and silver stripes or whatever it has. But I think it's because the sun's stressed. I don't know. I'm not a professional with Brazil. Let me see if I can get this off the stand without causing too much trauma. Sorry. But we're gonna go and show you the planter, or the propagation hanger, sorry. So I got 9 different types of plants here. Hopefully most of them will take. I'm not going to go through and list them all because I did that once already and it'll take forever. But I will update you and let you know how it's going. You can see I have propagations of all sizes, tall, short, and multiples in here. So this little hanger does actually do a lot, and you can see with 6 inches to grow roots, these could stay in here for a month or 2 or even longer. Thank you for watching. Please remember to have a great day. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And see you in the next one. Bye.